Hello, people. I am sorry to not be there. My son decided to throw up in the car on the way to school today. It's been an awesome day. So, let's get to the law of cosines. We get to do day 17 notes today. Tomorrow will be a review day. So, if any of this doesn't make sense, we can go through it then. And then don't forget you have a quiz Thursday, but it's open note. So make sure you're taking these notes. We got law of cosines. So yesterday we learned about law of sines and how if you have an angle and a side across from it, you can use the law of sines. Now we're going to be doing problems that are triangles that aren't right, just like yesterday, but we don't know an angle and a side across from it to start. So we'll be using it when we have something like side angle side and side side side. Now here's the formula. There's actually three of them. This is one version. So this is one of them. And they all kind of follow the same pattern. I'll show you the other two in a minute. So you've got a squared. Remember the little a, little b, little c are the sides. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c times the cosine of angle A. One thing you'll notice is that whatever little letter is on the far left is going to match the angle on the far right. So little a and angle A. The other formulas look like this, and they kind of follow the same pattern. You've got b squared. Notice if you have a, it goes bc, so it's the other two letters. So b squared, you're going to use the other two letters, a squared plus c squared, minus 2ac. Notice the same two letters here and here. Cosine of, this started with a b, so cosine of angle b. And then the other possibility is with c squared. C squared equals a squared plus b squared minus, same two letters, 2ab. And then cosine, if it was started with side C, so it ends with angle C. So those are the three possibilities that you're going to run into. And hopefully you can kind of see the pattern. All right, so let's try one of these problems down below. Again, we're still going to be rounding sides to the nearest tenth and angles to the nearest degree. All right, so when we have this, we have to find the side across from angle C, which is C. We've got angle B and angle A. Those are the things that we need to find. Now, normally with law of sines, we had the formula, because we are going to use it again today. This was the formula that we had yesterday. And that comes in handy when you know an actual side and an angle across from it. Right now we don't have that. What we're going to do is we're going to find the side across from angle, the 32-degree angle. Once we know this side, then we know an angle and a side across from it, and then we can use the law of sines formula, which is much easier to work with than this long crazy formula. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to find side C. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to use this formula right here, this bottom one, because that's the one that deals with finding side C. Side C is all by itself. So that's the one we're going to use. We've got C squared equals A squared. So let me label this. We've got A here, we've got B here. A squared, 45 squared, plus B squared, 34 squared, minus 2 times A, 45, times B, 34, times the cosine of angle C, which is 32 degrees. So this is going to be our setup. Now this long crazy thing here on the right, we can type that in all at once on our calculator. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so we've got, I can't quite get it all to fit on the screen, but we're going to do 45 squared plus 34 squared. And just be careful how you type this all in. Minus 2 times 45 times 34 cosine 32. So I typed it all in at once. Hit enter, you get this crazy number of 585.97, etc. And so then that's what C squared equals. All right, I'm not going to round it because remember we don't want to round into the very last step. So I'm not even going to write down the whole number. It's C squared equals this crazy 585 point, etc., etc. number. To get rid of C squared, to get rid of the squared, remember that we square root both sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to square root this crazy 585 number. I don't want you to round it. What you're going to do is you're going to do second square root, so the second x squared button, and then instead of typing it or rounding it, you're just going to do second answer. So second and then the negative sign. That'll put this number right here under the radical, hit enter, and you get your answer. So we still want to have as exact an answer as possible. We get 24.2. So that's C. All right. Once we know C, now we know an angle and a side across from it, and so now we can do the problems kind of like we did yesterday. We can use the law of sines. So we can use sine of angle C, 32, over side C, 24.2. And then we can either do A or B first, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do A. So the sine of angle A, which we don't know yet, over side A, 45. So we have that, and now we're going to cross multiply and solve, and this is like yesterday. So we've got 24.2 times the sine of A equals this 45 times the sine of 32. And then to get rid of the 24.2, we divide. And so sine of A is going to equal this thing. And so when we type this in on our calculator, remember that we type in the numerator first. So you're going to type in 45 times the sine of 32, hit enter, and then divide by 24.2, hit enter. You get this 0.985, etc. number. Now, I don't want to round it. I'm just going to kind of write it down. So this is what we have right now. We have the sine of A equals 0.985, etc., etc. To get rid of the sine, remember we do the inverse. So what we're going to do is we're going to do second sine and then second answer. I'll show you on the calculator. So you're going to do second sine and then second answer. We're going to do the inverse of this crazy decimal. Instead of rounding it or retyping it, just put second answer. Just like yesterday. And you get 80.19. Angles we round to the nearest degree, so this would be 80 degrees. So angle A is 80 degrees. All right, so we have those. And then we still have angle B, but luckily we don't have to do any trig to find it. We know two of the angles already, and we can find the third by subtracting them from 180. 180 minus 80 minus 32 will give us our angle of 68. Yeah, angle B equals 68. All right, and that's your answer. Okay, let's see. So that's one variation of cosine, law of cosines, where the variable is a side. We're going to also do one eventually where the variable is an angle, and you'll see how that one works. So let's go to number 2 on the next page and see what we got here. So with this one, we don't have a picture. You're going to want to draw a picture. Don't worry about making it accurate or anything as far as if the angle's obtuse or not, it doesn't matter. We got ABC. Across from side A is side A, which is 13. Across from angle A is side A. Across from angle B is side B, which is 21. And across from angle C is 28. So we have these three sides, and we have no angles. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve for an angle. And you can solve for angle A, angle B, or angle C first. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to do A because I'm going to go in alphabetical order. So if we're solving for angle A, that means if you look back on the other side, angle A, the only formula that had an angle A is the one that's typed on the sheet. It's this guy here, this A squared equals, so that's the formula we're going to use. So let's follow that formula. We've got A squared, so 13 squared, equals B squared, 21 squared, plus C squared, 28 squared, minus 2 times these same two numbers, 21 and 28, cosine of angle A, which I don't know. So there's my formula. Then what's going to happen is I need to simplify a few things. I'm going to simplify the 13 squared, which is 169. Now this, you have to realize that 21 squared plus 28 squared, you can combine those together. You cannot combine all three of these terms together because this last term has a cosine and these other ones don't. You cannot combine them together. So what we're going to do is we're going to simplify 21 squared plus 28 squared. If you do that on your calculator, 21 squared plus 28 squared, you're going to get 1,225. Oops, 1,225. And then I can simplify these numbers in front, the 2 times 21 times 28. So I'm going to do that real quick. 2 times 21 times 28, and you're going to get 1,176. So 1,176 cosine of A. All right, so these cannot be combined together. One's got a cosine, one doesn't, so you cannot combine them. What I'm going to do is try and get the cosine by itself. So I'm going to get rid of the 1225. The 1225 is being, combined by addition or subtraction, so I'm going to subtract it. All right, and so 169 minus 1225, if you subtract that, you get negative 1,056. These cancel. I still have a negative 1176 cosine of A. All right, and then I need to get rid of this negative 1176 number. Since it's being multiplied, I'm going to undo it by dividing. Sorry, 76, and so we divide by negative 1176. These cancel. I'm left with cosine of A equals whatever this is. So we're going to divide that out. All right, we're going to divide the negative 1056 divided by the negative 1176, and you get this crazy 0.897, etc. number. Now we're not going to round it or anything like that. What we're going to do is, to get rid of the cosine, we're going to do second cosine, second answer. All right, so to get rid of the cosine, you got to do the inverse. So we're going to do second cosine, second answer. And you're going to get 26 degrees. We round to the nearest degree. So angle A is 26 degrees. All right, so there's angle A. Then, now that we know an angle and a side across from it, we can do law of sines. You can find B or C next. I'm going to do B, just continuing alphabetical order. So I'm going to do sine of angle A, which we just found to be 26, over side A, 13. And then we'll do sine of angle B over side B, 21. Cross multiply, and this is just like yesterday. You get 13 times the sine of B equals 21 times the sine of 26. We got to get rid of the 13, so we divide. So on our calculator, we're going to type in the numerator, 21 sine 26, hit enter, and then divide by 13. Hit enter. You get this 0.708 number. So sine of B equals this 0.708 number. And then what you got to do is get rid of the sine. So we're going to do the inverse. Second sine, second answer. And you'll get your angle of 45 degrees. So angle B is 45 degrees. So there's 45. And then you can find angle C by subtracting it from 180. So 180 minus 45 minus 26, you'll get angle C is 109. All right, so then you have your last angle, 109. All right, so that's kind of how that works. We still have one more problem to go. My videos are limited to 15 minutes, so I'm going to stop here and you're going to watch the second video link on the part 2 video so that you can figure out how to do number 3. All right, I'll talk to you in a minute.